Hey, good afternoon. It is 2:30 p.m. It is Wednesday, November 5th. And I just realized today is what? 2025. So how many years has this been since my father passed away? My father passed away on November 5th of 1996. So I'm just trying to remember in my head how many years. It's been quite a while, okay? It's almost 30 years actually. Maybe a little bit over that, I think. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to do it in my head. Anyway, so I came on here to do this video because I was thinking about the purpose of like employment lawyers, okay? And I know that what this particular group did was go around the community, as well as outside communities, especially after I left Murray Family Farms. They had the entire community convinced that I was not deserving of compensation. They had the entire community convinced that I should not have been awarded anything. I did not have the right or ability to even go to an employment lawyer, take Steve Murray to court or anybody else. Okay, these people were instructed not to listen to me. Okay, I would say that most employment lawyers are pretty well versed when it comes to like workers' compensation damage and things like that. Okay, people who maybe have worked damaged. Hurt themselves on the job and then they're seeking compensation, or people who are trying to get their past wages back if they were short paid or something. But when it comes to gang stalking, okay, a lot of these employers, they just get wrapped up into, number one, their social group, the gossip. Some of this is deeply embedded in their religious participation, okay, and this is what creates the problem, okay. So you know, when it comes to employment lawyers, okay, employment lawyers, especially whatever state they're involved in, need to apply and adhere to the state employment laws within that state. So that means that I should have been able to go to an employment lawyer, okay, and they would have been able to say, hey, you know what? I know that there's some gossip going on, but I need to listen to this person anyway. And the reason why is because they have a right. They have a right. I'm holding their right. The problem with it is it was completely religious. What do you call it? Influenced, and that's a problem. And then here we come to find out, this whole issue about the cloning system and all these other issues. So this is how they keep clones and people that they want into a bubble. This is how they manipulate the situation by creating this sort of isolation. Christianity, I would not say that it needs to be abolished. Personally, I don't deal with it, but I do think that there needs to be, understanding as to what, these people can do when it comes to the law system, because it doesn't seem as though they're adhering or they're following the law. It seems like they're breaking the law and they're creating it, and I mean, creating more problems. And they're also fueling, many, what I would believe to be underground crime syndicates. Okay, because that's exactly what it is. The people that participated in my targeting, this includes Terry Collins, by making any sort of anonymous phone call to gain some sort of control over me, and then having cooperation, people limiting my rights to have my freedom. Okay, all of this is illegal. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the kind of compensation. I talked about this earlier, but I'm trying to make you guys understand. We are, as citizens of each state, okay, we are supposed to be able to have certain rights and protections, okay? So we have the right to gain to gainful employment, okay? We have the right to stand up for ourselves if we have problems. I know that there's been like, information from different kind of law offices and doing commercials about people who get bullied at the workplace, typically that relate to harassment issues that might pertain to sex, race, and those sort of things, okay? So people are somewhat familiar with it, but they still sometimes overlook the signs, okay? I know I felt as though when I went to PAS, passive aggressive stupidity, where I met with a woman who I did not feel really fully understood my dilemma. Also, I do believe that she was highly influenced by the trafficking network. And see, this is what creates biased opinions in these sort of networks. Number one, this was a network that I did not want to belong to, meaning like it's cool that there are certain important people that were in my network. Like I do believe like we had royal blood in my network. This would include people like, the My mind is drawing a blank here. You know what I'm talking about, like the British family. I'm talking about celebrities and this sort of thing. Okay, but I'm talking about the people who were playing a role as far as the employers that were here in this community. Okay, now what she did was she showed me a video and then she kind of patched it up with, oh, everybody's a little bit racist. That was the wrong thing to say. That was the wrong thing to say. See, I don't think that a lot of people are really qualified to deal with these sort of sensitive issues, and sometimes they end up making statements that could actually end up burying them. Okay, like if we, they do not know how to handle these sort of situations, the way that they should be, to prevent escalating even more rage or and resentment and the need to get compensation. That's kind of like admitting, yes, we're racist and this is how it is and this is what you have to live with. Okay, meanwhile, I took note of that day that I had when she said that, and I knew that if I took it to a lawyer, and I was building a case against Murray Family Farms. Okay, but they had it well in place for me to be dismissed because of the human trafficking network. Okay, now when it comes to compensation, okay, like I was saying, we're all supposed to have the right to have gainful employment. The idea of employment is to consistently hang on to your job, constantly do your job, do things, grow with the company, make money, hopefully move up in the company, blah, 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 but has stability. Okay. Ideally, I would like to have stability. Who wouldn't? I would prefer to work for a job and work there year after year after year after year, get old, retire from that job. And I know that's difficult to do, mainly because we do not have strong leaders in the workplace. We have too much toxicity that's going to sit here and like allow people to have that kind of longevity in the workplace. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. If I get a job, I want to be able to promote a better workplace, a better work environment where people do not have this, let me hire, the high turnover rate is just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so that poor management. Okay, and then also we have bullying behaviors. A lot of people really do believe that, throwing your weight around, how many insults that you can throw out, as well as plots and schemes, as well as genocide tactics, participation in bullying, and so on and so forth. This is what their idea of management is. This is all they know, and they're proud of it, okay? But meanwhile, I understand that there's a logical order of things, okay? I understand that ethics come into play as well as law, okay? So I would never want to, give a company a bad name by participating in something like this, because I will tell you, it has ruined my life. And now I can sit here and point out the people who decided to do this, okay? And they're not good people, and there's no way in the world I can paint them out to be, especially after dealing with this for 10 consecutive years. So when I was working, okay, I would always try to build my stability, which I have the right to do. So I always wanted to make sure that I had some sort of nest egg for myself, for my son if something happened to me. So I would pay into like life insurance policies, okay? They prevented me from working. Guess what? I lost that. Also, uh, loss of finances. Okay, my retirement. During the time that these people were playing games, okay, I had the right to find gainful employment somewhere else, because the ultimate goal for me is to find some form of longevity. So they stood in my way and prevented me from having a job. Okay. So I did not build on my retirement. I am already 54 years old. Okay. So these people basically robbed me out of a retirement. You could add that to the list of what these people owe me. Okay. This is why people are trying to seek some sort of, what do you call it? Not entitlement. Compensation when it comes to them dealing with problems on the job, because you set people back. You set people back. You cause financial hardship. You cause psychological hardships. And the only way that you guys know how to handle it is, oh, well, oh, I'm sorry. Let me give you a car that you're going to have to repair and all this other stuff. Okay. Meanwhile, you created problems for me. So how you guys can look at yourselves in the mirror, it just completely like baffles me. Anyway, so I do not have a retirement fund. I do not have any way to retire. Also, the other issue is my assets. Now, I ended up getting my car repossessed. Okay, that goes on my credit. Okay, and no, it was not my son's responsibility to pay for that. See, the thing is that my son moved into my house, and I allowed him to pay for what needed to pay for. Like the things that, of course, he's going to have to pay for. We live in the same house, so he owes me half the rent. Okay. He owes me for half of the electric bill. Okay. He owes me for half of the cable or whatever, internet, whatever. Okay. But me sitting here trying to dump this on him, no, it is not his responsibility. You know whose responsibility it should be? It should be the employers. All the employers who prevented me from having full-time or any kind of employment when I wanted to. These people wanted me to go to work when they were good and ready. Okay, so that broke the law. I'm supposed to be able to have employment, gainful employment, and find employment when I need to. Now, sometimes it takes a while to find a job. I fully understand that, right? But these people purposely made it so that they decided when I go to work. Okay, that means that you prevented me from having any dreams, any sort of stability, and any way of me building my future. Okay, so Terry Collins, I'm going to ask you what I just went through, what I just went that list that I just went through. Okay, because I'm not done yet. What are you going to do about it? The intuitive message I'm getting right now is she's basically saying in her mind, or she believes that she may even be dead right now, because I don't know. Okay, that she feels as though I should stay the way that I am because she knows I'm right. She knows I'm right. She knows that she has affected me and my life. Okay. Now, my car is now repossessed. Okay. That is a ding on my credit report. Okay. Do you know what that means? That my credit is affected because of her. Okay. So are you going to pay for my car balance? Can you pay for the car balance? Okay. Can you make sure that it's zero balance? Can you do that? Oh, well then, oh, you can't, or if you can or whatever, do you realize what you did? Okay. The other issue is they damaged my credit cards. I should be able to have credit, revolving credit. Okay. That means, that they put me in situations, they controlled what I was able to earn. Okay. They tell me when I can go to work. They prevent me from finding work. Okay. They kept me out of a work for longer than I even needed to. Prevented me from having income. And then they selfishly, arrogantly said, oh, you know what? Her son can play for it. No. No. Okay. I want my son to have a better life than I did. Okay. I don't want my son sitting here feeling like he's got some sort of obligation. I don't want my son to feel that way. Okay. I know what it's like to sit here and have to deal with people who are selfish, evil, and just rotten people and trying to make me feel like I'm carrying more of a load than I have to. You do not put those responsibilities on my son. Okay. And I know better to do that. You know why? Because I have integrity. I understand that I am here all by myself. I'm responsible for my things. Okay. So I did what I had to on my end, but you screwed it up. Okay. By telling people, don't hire her, don't hire her. And then bringing in this whole nightmare about, the marriage thing and the Christian thing and all this other stuff. That's not my responsibility to live up to your standards. Okay. So my thing is, I want my credit cards paid down to zero. Meaning I want that as zero balance, okay? Because I was making all my payments on my credit card, then you put me out to work. Before then, I was paying my balance off each and every month. Okay, so can you replace my credit cards? Can you replace the credit cards? Okay, can you make sure that my credit, because my credit was A+. I had A+ credit. No dings on my credit, okay? Can you fix it? Okay? And if you can't, guess what? You deserve the hatred that you're getting. You deserve the hatred that you get. First of all, I'm sure your mother has told you, do not touch things that do not belong to you. Okay. But you guys in your weird, sick, twisted mind, you fake Christians get together, all these different denominations. This is why it's a cult. Okay. And then you sit here and you talk about how Maria's this and how Maria's that and how you're unhappy and how you feel like you want to fix me because you feel jealous because of what I have. So then you want to limit my quality of life because you feel as though, that's something that only people of your religion should have, or that people within your group should have. Okay. No, I deserve compensation. Okay. So can you fix my credit cards? Can you? And then also I got some sort of message a while ago about people using my credit to open up PPP loans. Okay. And I did make a statement to like the Masons a while ago. I need people to check my credit report. I do not have enough money right now to check my credit report. I don't. Okay. That's another thing. I need to sit here and make sure that my stuff is good the way it's supposed to be because you affected it. Can you fix it? Can you fix it? It's your fault, Terry. And it's your fault, Bruce. It's your fault, Rick. Or are all of you guys dead? Okay, because I'm seriously keeping my fingers twisted. Okay, right now I'm getting pissed off because when I start thinking about what I deserved to get compensation. Okay. Also, there is no excuse. Like, you guys put these stupid things in place, like, well, because Maria smokes weed, because she dresses nice, you don't have the right to punish me for anything. Okay. What you're trying to do is enact your hatred, is what it is. Okay. So because Maria wears nice clothes, I have to punish her. I have to punish her. So nobody talks to her because, she didn't marry Bruce. And why would I marry Bruce after everything he's done? You guys switched, totally switched this whole narrative as if he was some sort of, deserving father or something like that. He was a piece of shit. And that's all he was. Okay, so he's just basically somebody who's trying to protect his own interest. Okay, Bruce never fought me or even addressed the issue of child custody ever. Okay, and if he would have tried to, try to fight for custody, I'm pretty sure I would have known about it. You're lying. I have come to understand that it's unfortunate, but there are some Christian groups, specifically cults, okay, who operate in criminal activity, and this is one of them. Okay, some people might classify this as white collar crimes. Basically, somebody calling, like Terry Collins, calling the social services department and trying to withhold benefits or whatever, or making it so that she has control over me when she really doesn't. Or another issue that I was concerned about is, I know that my son just recently got in an accident, right? And I do not believe I don't believe it was an accident. It could very well have been one of Rashawn's people, one of his friends running into my son, okay? And I want to make sure that my son gets his compensation. Okay, because if these people have a fraudulent power of attorney over me and my son, then they could end up getting the check that my son is entitled to. I don't trust these people, and in their warped, deranged mind, they'd be like, "Oh, you know what? We worship Jehovah, so therefore it should be ours." No, it's not, and I don't consider you guys family. You're not my family. Okay. Now the town's going really silent right now because they know what I'm saying is right. You are not my family. Okay. I did not marry Bruce. Okay. I didn't marry Bruce. Bruce is married to Sarah. Okay. And I moved on. I never asked you guys for shit. So I had already made a video earlier today about my name being responsible people. This means like Masonic people, maybe somebody who is a governor of California or somebody. Research my name in the data bank of the social services place, and there better not be any notation on there. Okay, nobody has the right to tell me what to do. Anyway, something about Terry was feeling as though I was living too extravagantly, like, because yeah, I do. I eat a lot of grapes and stuff like that. You know why? Because I have stomach problems. That is the only thing that quells it. Okay, I don't go to doctors. I don't go to. I pretty much eat a regular diet every day, eating like the same kind of food almost every day. Okay, why? Because I have my food or my body, my chronic illnesses down to a science on what I put in my body. Okay, yes, I don't eat just anything. Okay, because I know I have to take care of my health. Okay, I can't go to doctors and nowhere will I ever. I will never step a foot in a doctor's office. Okay, because people like you, there are vigilantes in so many different what do you call it, industries, and this is what I'm trying to get my soul tribe to understand. Okay, we need people to audit these sort of places. If people are playing pick and choose games, if people are playing genocide games, they need to be picked out and they need to be removed from their position. The intuitive message I'm getting right now: I was right and I proved everyone wrong. Okay. Also, so yes, these little excuses. Okay, now if something becomes legal, you may not like it if somebody smokes weed. You may not like it if some people like alcohol. You may not like it if somebody, likes a certain kind of music or they dress a certain way. That is not a reason to deny them a service. When it comes to things relating to public health, things that relate to entitlements for their employment and these sort of things. Okay, you guys are in violation. Okay, you don't make up rules as you go along. If somebody fills an application, like for example, I talked about the EDD. I worked for so many months, okay, and then I was terminated because of this particular reason. That's the criteria that means that allows me to receive my benefit. Okay, the criteria should not be my religion. The criteria should not be my political affiliation. It's not on the application. And if it is, we have a serious problem. We need to talk about this, okay? Because you would be openly discriminating against people, okay? my entitlement, or my I wouldn't say my entitlement, but my yeah, I would say my entitlement. If I'm entitled to certain benefits, okay, then they are based on me just either paying into the system or for me being able to have them. Okay, you may not like, my lifestyle, but that is not reason to do it. So what you guys are doing is in violation. So my point is that we need to be proactive in this issue. Okay, we need to be able to weed out the kind of people that are practicing this. If people are orchestrating these sort of genocide games, which a lot of religious people do, that would be Terry Collins, okay? Because Terry Collins knew good and well I wanted to get on with my life. The very fact that she sat there and did nothing, and the very fact that she's sitting, that this whole issue about the BPD and me being logged in is 5150 with Rashawn and Bruce and all these other people, I'm going to hold you accountable for attempted murder. Okay? So I expect you, or the remnant of you, because I suspect a lot of you guys may not even be here anymore. Okay, fix your shit. Okay. So this is why people seek compensation. You thought I was just mouthing off and I was just like, complaining about nothing. No. Okay, you destroyed my financial stability. And no, it is not something that is just willy-nilly. Oh, I'm just going to go get another job or whatever. No, that means I have to rebuild and replace the things that I lost. That's bullshit. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that people are talking about their inner child. See, this is what I hate about a lot of these people who call themselves my fans. Okay, they want to sit here and relate to me on issues like their inner child, and they want to think about their healing, but they sit there and they cause all kinds of damage. And then when they find out that they're wrong, oh, I'm getting in touch with my inner child. Oh, I'm in so much pain. Don't get mad at me. Yes, I have every right to get mad at you. Okay? Because you're mentally ill. That's why. Okay? And you don't see it. Okay? Here's what you need to do. Here's what everybody needs to know. Okay? If it's not yours, you don't have the right to touch it. Okay? That means anything. Otherwise, it's stealing. You had no right to man yourself over my work or anything. And then this whole issue about Bruce and child custody. I mean, you know what? He is such a liar. He's such a liar. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that people really do look at me as somebody who has a lot of high standards, and I do. Okay, I do everything I can to get out. I mean, or prevent me running into this issue, and for Terry and all these people to jump into my life and affect it in the manner that they did. That means that I deserve compensation, and I have every right to be angry. I have every right to be angry. No, I do not. What you were trying to do was you were trying to prevent me from living my life. Okay. And I remember one time a few months ago, I was in my house and I was eating some cashews, right? And then my son said, "Oh, that's too luxurious," right? And now, mind you, I've been eating cashews since I was a little kid. My mother bought cashews. I was raised on cashews. This is kind of normal stuff. And my son said, "Oh, that's luxurious." And then I kept saying, in my mind, something right registered in my mind is somebody's outside influence is coming into my home, and I don't appreciate it. You keep your fucking ass out of my house, okay? Your attitude and everything else. And I don't like to cuss, okay? Because my dad didn't like to cuss, okay? And I understand that I have this reputation of being the savior and everything else. But you know what? I get angry. I get angry of being disadvantaged over and over and over and over again, okay? At other people creating these issues, and then they sit there and they want to give you the bare minimum to try to make up for it. Now I got a car that registration expires on the 8th, okay? I have no insurance, okay? I have no AAA. I have none of all of the things that I was able to keep up while I was working that you prevented me from doing, and then you wanted to cut off my food stamps on top of it. Okay? You should be charged for attempted murder. My son's well aware of what your participation is. So if he decides to take you to court, shut the hell up about it. Okay? Now, if my son sees this video, which probably he will, okay, because we don't talk about this issue directly, okay? If my son decides to want to take you to court, I'm going to tell him right now, he takes you to court. And he rakes you for everything that you got. And he deserves it. Okay? I'm tired of these lawyers. And if these lawyers don't know how to handle it, then I will instruct them, because these people do not know what they're talking about. I have to deal with really, I cannot tell you how frustrating it is. Okay, this is one of the main reasons why I do not want to be cloned again. The way that you guys operate, okay, these Christian people that sit here and come in with their little blind, what do you call it? Their orchestrations, they're already at fault for the whole cloning system in the first place. And then they sit here, I want to make your life more miserable with their stupid kingdom spouse stuff. Okay? No, I mean, I definitely don't want to come back to this earth again, because these people have destroyed the quality of life for so many people. They do not know what they're doing. Okay. The other message I'm getting right now is I'm very grateful that I have the support of Democrats, Republicans, and anything in between. I'm grateful that you guys all approve of me. Okay. But this is an issue that affects a lot of us, regardless. Okay. I know there's a lot of women who've been put in this similar situation. And some of it's based on religion, some of it's based on just people getting divorced. It could be all kinds of issues. Okay. I'm tired of employers screwing people over and then playing people's lives for sport, is what I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Okay. So, and unless, and this goes for not just employment. Okay. If you cannot compensate people for the damage that you cause, keep your dirty hands off of it. It's as simple as that. Just like, I know that if I broke somebody's window across the street, if I was throwing a ball across the street and I ended up breaking somebody's window, I'm financially responsible for it. I'm not going to be sitting here looking all dumb like, oh, what do you want me to do about it? I know what I'm supposed to do about it. I affected somebody and I'm responsible for compensation to compensate that person. It's called being responsible. Okay. But here we get these stupid employees, okay, that create all kinds of issues because they don't know how to do their job. And then they're like, oh, well, she'll get another job or she'll do this or whatever. No, you should be recovering it. Okay. I don't forgive any of these people for what they've done. Okay. And yeah, when I talk about it, I get really upset. I get really, really upset because they cause these problems and they're like, oh, we're going to just dump it on her son. No, Terry, you need to pay for it. And you know what it is? She was upset because I buy things for myself. Okay, she wants to monitor what it is that I buy. Of course, I'm going to buy stuff for myself. Okay, and then she's basically saying that, okay, I don't care what Terry Collins says or what she wants. She's trying to control me because she doesn't. She's jealous of how I look. That's what it is. She's jealous of how I look. So because she can get together with other low quality women, they can sit here and consult about how they're going to prevent me from, and then, mess up my food stamps, mess up my whatever, and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. Terry Collins, you are an evil person. And if my son has the ability to find a decent lawyer, he needs to sue you, is what he needs to do. Okay. He needs to sue you and take you to court. Okay. Um, what else? Okay. Now, the other message I was trying to cover is like everybody knows in this community that I do not want to have any romantic relationships with the people in the community. And I think it should be fully understood why. Okay. It would seem very odd for me to want to have some sort of emotional tie into some people who actually orchestrated this sort of bullying. I don't care who you are in the community, and I'm polite to everybody in the community. Okay. But for me to have some sort of look at anybody in this community with any sort of affection, romantic, platonic for that matter, okay, is absurd. Why? Because these people all actively participated in what I'm involved already now. So the only thing I could be, like I said, I meant it. The only thing I can do is be polite. I can't be anything else to these people. Okay. And you created this issue, Terry Collins. Or if you're live, if you're dead, Rick, whatever, you need to fix it. Okay, because it's not just, well, you took it upon yourself to decide to put me in this situation. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Oh, you're not going to do anything. You're basically saying, this message I'm getting is that my path is clear to the ideal job employer. Yeah, that's what he's basically saying. You're evil. Okay, you're an evil person. Okay, you're wicked. Something about me, him, this group of people wanting to prevent me, this union. Okay, this is what they need. It makes such a big elaborate issue. Okay, something about Vladimir Putin, right? So they're not going to sit here. They're going to create all these problems for me, and they don't want to fix it because of this issue of Vladimir Putin, right? Because they figure that he could get me a job that's going to compensate for what they screwed up. See, you are low in character. You are somebody who does not deserve to live. You deserve to die. You deserve to die because you create all of this other stuff, these issues, and then you create issues for other people to pick up. You're not respectable. I understand that when I go outside, I can hold my head up high because I would never cause anybody this kind of damage. Okay? The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that the Bakersfield Masons are willing to bend over backwards and accommodate me. Thank you. Okay. So yes, spread the message, that this is going on. I need to find a job. Now I know I applied for a job a couple of days ago and I need to call back on these jobs. But I don't like doing that, but I have to. I need to be more proactive. Okay. Also, it's important that if my son has the ability to contact a decent lawyer, okay, I want you to sue the Collins family. I want you to sue them for everything that they have. Do not feel bad about it. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that um, something about the food stamp thing, okay? It's more than the food stamp thing, okay? It's the bullshit that you've created. Okay, you've caused it's like not only did you cause me to lose all of those things, you tried to damage my reputation. Okay, and like I said, this is one of the reasons why you damaged my reputation. This is one of the reasons why when I went to Walmart, that dude was sitting here acting like an asshole. Okay, so I have to deal with the residual effects of what you caused. Okay, and what's offensive about it is that Bruce was never what he said he was. Okay, so once again, you caused all of this, and then you're like, oh, well, she's associated, or they're thinking, this is what they're thinking, Mr. Vladimir Putin. Okay, they're thinking that now that they ruined all of this, that you're going to get me a job that's going to sit here and pay for that. Now, I don't know what you're doing or what's going on, but see, and I appreciate it if you are helping me. But my point is that is not how you deal with things. They damaged it. They should be fixing it. And they should be paying for my car, a new car. They should be able to pay for all the repairs, my insurance, everything. And of course, they're just going to stand there. And the intuitive message I'm getting right now, so many people agree with the childhood issue. They're talking about the childhood and how they miss being childhood and how they can relate to that issue with me. Okay, so you care about your feelings. You care about how it affects you, how the damage that you created affects you, and now you can't compensate, and now you feel bad. Okay, and I'm supposed to just suck up and take it. You drop dead in the middle of the street. Okay, this is the reason why I cannot stand people like that. This is the reason why I respect other people's spaces, and I know I would never cause this kind of damage to somebody else. You deserve everything that negative that's happened to you. The intuitive message I'm getting is that these people also expected me to have extravagant parties with my soul tribe. Of course, of course, I want to go out and have fun with these people. I want to know these people. I want to hang out with Elon Musk. I want to go and make him a big plate of cookies and see if he likes them or not. I want to talk to Vladimir Putin. I want to know what Donald Trump likes. Does he like donuts? I want to know these people. Of course I do. But you sit here. A lot of times people damage you because they think that you have everything. And in their mind, they think that that's justification. I remember when I was working at Murray Family Farms when Selena was causing all these problems. I said, "Look, knock it off." And then I remember her saying "Well, you have everything. You have everything." No, I don't have everything. You know what I mean? I don't have the flexibility to find a job when I need to. That's one of the most important things that you need to have in life. Okay, I did not have a solid foundation, a good family. I did not have, a lot of the things that people take for granted. Okay, they see me wearing nice clothes and they think, oh, she's got everything. No, I don't. I don't. Okay, I am financially behind. I am, suffering. I'm doing all kinds of things, you know what I mean? And you know whose fault it is? It's their fault, and they take no accountability for it. They deserve to die. They deserve it. The intuitive message I got is that uh, President Putin thinks that I'm his friend. Yes, I am your friend. Okay, I am your friend. Meaning, I'm not sitting here trying to suck you dry, or use you for anything. I respect you as a person. Um, Okay, I'm glad that you see me as an honest person. Yes, I really did believe that my work ethic was enough to keep me afloat. I really believe that going to work every day, doing a good job, turning in my assignments, dressing professionally, acting, professional, and making sure that I went the extra mile. I really thought that that was enough. Okay, I thought that that was good enough for me, but unfortunately, what people want to end up hiring are people who commit genocide, or people who are unprofessional, or people who deviate from their actual job and do things like get together with other people to create bullying tactics and stuff. Okay, this is what people want in their offices. Okay, we have a very big problem. Okay, because I'm like the only real professional and I'm tired of dealing with it. Okay, so as far as the Collins are concerned, they can go out and they can end up dead. I really don't care about them. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that yes, of course, people realize you're supposed to dress for success. Okay, and mind you, how I dress to the Collins family, you stay out of that. You know why? Because I am not married to you, and I would not be married to somebody who's going to dictate that. If I was with somebody, they would know what the program was. That's one thing I could say about Joel. Okay, Joel did know what the program was. He knew that I was somebody who was into clothes. He knew this is what I was into, and he never made a big issue about it. Okay, and now if he did, he may have done it, behind the scenes with these people who want to orchestrate stuff. Stay out of people's relationships. Okay, that is no one's business. Okay, and like I said, if people want to have their relationship coached or monitored or whatever, if they're religious, they can handle that with a member of their clergy within their church. Okay, until then, keep your mouth shut, because I don't want to hear it. Don't you dare sit here and try to give me any of your religious advice. And when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses, I do not want to hear it. Like I said, the Jehovah's Witnesses were standing outside of my door, and I let them stand outside my door. I didn't open it. Okay. Okay, so the message I'm getting right now is that Maria and Mr. Vladimir Putin, people actually want to see us be friends. They want us to be, yeah, they want us to be friends. What else? Yeah, I want to be friends with you. But people look at us. Apparently, you have a similar outlook, or you're in a similar situation that I am. Like, I know that you're very handsome. Okay, and you are somebody who always dresses nice. You have a very nice flair to you, and you seem very professional. That irks people. But anyway, what it is that people look at you as somebody. People look at you as somebody who indulges in the pleasures of life, which I think is stupid. Okay. Some people look at music, listen to music. I listen to music for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You know why? Because I don't have any, buddy to have stimulating conversation with for hours and hours and hours and hours. Unless, of course, I was going to lower my standards and let one of those weirdos come into my house. I don't think so. So music will entertain me just fine. When it comes to my clothes, absolutely. I don't have a supportive family. I was abused when I was growing up. I have all kinds of issues. I'm going to indulge in the stuff that I love, and that includes my stuffed animals, my makeup, my hair, my clothes, whatever, okay? And I'm unapologetic about it. I'm unapologetic about it, okay? Because all I've done while I was here was, when it comes to other people, is I find myself being in situations where I'm absolutely miserable. I am not happy with people, the human dynamic. So you know what I do? I comfort myself, and I rightfully so. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that, yes, President Putin does readings to see if I like him. And yes, I do. I like you a lot. Okay, so anyway, apparently there's people who want to have a reincarnation meetup. Okay, and this also might have been a motivating factor for the Collins family. I've been getting some. I'm gonna have to break out my cards. My alien deck. I want to see, because I keep getting this feeling that President Putin and a few other people. I mean, I know that you know, I know who I am. I'm not going to tell you anybody who you are, because I think the public knows who you are or who you were. Okay, but I do believe that you and I spent time together in the past, and certain places within, like, the Antelope Valley. You may have been in the Antelope Valley. I understand your ties to other locations, but you may have been in the Antelope Valley in your past life. I also believe that there's another person who is tied to us. This might be a man by the name of Gilbert Clevens, as well as, because I worked for the Clevens Publication Company many, many years ago, and I'm starting to remember conversations that we had. And I think he was kind of alluding to the fact that, yes, he recognized me as CB Berganza, and I do believe that you and I were soul companions in our past life, meaning not maybe like in a romantic relationship, but we had a very close bond. Because the minute I started realizing who you were, I mean, I started getting tears in my eyes, and I really, really just wanted to reach out and hug you, because I recognized you as a soul connection. I recognized you as somebody who meant something to me at one time. This is the truth, okay? So the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that the social services groups, a lot of these people are getting isolated, and they're getting hated on. This is my issue, okay? What people need to understand. See, supervisors, managers, this is your fault. If this is kind of nonsense is going on in these organizations, you guys could be participating in it too. I will tell you why. A lot of times when people have a supervisor roles in management, they feel like no one's going to audit them. They feel like no one's watching what they're doing. They feel like they have full control and nobody's going to pay any attention. I'm wondering, and I really highly suggest that their auditing goes on in these sort of agencies, okay? Not just these agencies, but in day-to-day functions. You know what I mean? Like, you might have an accountant that might work in, like I said, like for example, I work in accounting. So there's been times where people have left with me with check stock, and I don't have a problem with it, right? But let's just say, for example, while I'm at home on the weekend, one of the kids from their family, maybe the owner's kid comes in and takes a check and stuff like that. People need audits. They need to be able to check and account for certain things. So if these people are doing something crooked in these sort of social services areas, who is checking up on them? Does somebody, review all of these people, like these service workers? Okay, let's just say we have 9 different social service workers, and they probably have appointments and manage different people. Okay, who is managing their case? Who is auditing the people that they govern or whatever? There needs to be auditing in place to make sure that none of this kind of fraudulent behavior goes on. And yes, I will call it fraudulent. If Terry Collins had her dirty little hands in it, then I will tell you it's fraudulent. Also, the fact is that anybody can do it because they allow for it, and they're breaking rules that are set for their company, and they're following their own rules based on their religion. Okay, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that I shall rule over humanity. Because, in my past lives, I created laws. I was somebody, not just laws, religious laws, I also created secular laws. Okay, King Solomon is known to be wise. Yes, I do believe that I'm somebody who uh, has the ability to make good decisions. The intuitive message I'm getting right now: instant death to who could think of harming me or my son. We are divinely protected. Okay, so yeah, I make good decisions. So we have a lot of organized crime that goes on in Bakersfield, California, and I'm basically stating to this to I don't know if Karen Go is still among us or not. Is it possible for me to take over a position here in this community? Something needs to be done because this, or if the job is already arranged by these people, that's fine too, whatever. But this issue needs to be fixed, and I'm sure that if it's not just here in Bakersfield, I'm sure it's everywhere. People do not have good work ethics, so let's get rid of the people who don't. Either bring in some sort of automation, bring in better people, or automate these jobs. Okay, and the reason why I say automate them is because we don't need to have people answering the phone over at the BPD. We really don't. Okay. All of this can be handled through automation, and it can be quick and it can be efficient, and we can completely bypass lazy people who do not want to answer the phone correctly. Okay. This is what I'm saying. It's like I'm very driven. Like I notice things that are wrong, and I already start thinking about ways to fix it. Okay, everything that when I deal with people, customer service people, I analyze this sort of stuff. I told you, I am a researcher for over 30 years, and yes, my research matters. Okay, and everything that I learn, I incorporate it into my work. Okay, so this is why when every time I have to deal with these people who are answering the phone, or they're not providing excellent customer service as they should, or whatever, I'm grading them. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't even be here. Like you don't even need a job. You don't need to work here. Okay, I pay attention to these sort of things because this is my line of work. And yes, I am a self-professed occupational engineer, and I'm a damn good one. Okay? So, yes, I want my reincarnate. I don't know who President Trump was in his past life, but I have my suspicions, and boy, I kind of laugh. Anyway, hi Trump. Okay, so the message I'm getting is that a lot of the people are pretty frustrated with themselves. A lot of people who made up their own rules and maybe let their arrogance rule them. Sometimes people get positions of management, and because management is so shoddy, they encourage people underneath them. They're all in a clique, and they start doing things, breaking the rules. They could have very well teamed up with Terry Collins and all these other people and did what they did. Okay, Terry Collins is not the ultimate authority. Maybe what somebody in the group was a Jehovah's Witness or whatever, And the thing is, do not. This is what I've said before, and I'll say it again. Do not jeopardize your professional title, okay, or experience or whatever for anybody. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Like friends and business do not mix. They don't mix. Okay. So anyway, yes, I understand there's some people who are they don't understand how this whole thing ties in with the Bible. Yes, I wrote 3 books of the Bible as King Solomon. Okay. And I understand that the Masons know that I recognize me as the savior, okay? And then, of course, we know that a lot of people who are Masons created religions, and you'll see a white Jesus plastered on the wall or whatever. Whatever. Like, I get it, okay? But yes, according to the Masonic temple, I am the savior. I am the savior. Okay, it's my bloodline. It all comes down to bloodline, and it's not me trying to brag about it. It just is. Okay, so when we deal with, so for example, some religious people who have always believed in a certain narrative or the white Jesus or whatever, it doesn't matter how you see God really, but it's the issue of people who may not acknowledge me or want to acknowledge me, and people who want to give me a hard time because of whatever, or I'm not interested in that, and I'm certainly never going to resort to debating. I'm not interested in debating religion. I'm not interested in any of that. Okay, in order to be a good citizen, or somebody who is considered to be, I guess it's a form of maturity to understand that not everybody comes from your background. And if you cannot deal with people, like when they talk about work environments, dealing with diversity, diversity does not always mean race. Sometimes maybe you might be a Catholic that is going into a business where the predominant group of people may be Mormons. Okay, it's being able to communicate without bringing in these differences and making a big issue of it. So, like, I walk into an office and I'm saying, first morning, and you're like, hey, good morning, hey, okay, good morning, and you go back to your office. We don't need to sit here and yap and yap and yap and talk and all this other stuff. Okay, I'm there to do a job. I'm there to do a job. That's it. Okay, I don't care. I'm not interested in being friends or whatever. I'm there to be and do my job. Okay, and then the whole thing about how these people bring in these kingdom spouses. Like, by the way, if Vladimir Putin is considered my kingdom spouse, I could not find a cuter. I could not find the cuter kingdom spouse. I'm going to say something about that because, okay, I don't want you to get offended because I actually think it. Well, I'm not going to say it. We need to meet each other before I tell you this, okay? But hopefully we will. People feel as though I should rule humanity or have some sort of place in politics. Um, I'm inclined to believe that I want to do something. I want to fix certain issues. Okay, I want to fix what I had to deal with. I want to fix and bring people in who either care, or if they don't care, they get rid of them and automate things. Okay, make things better is what I'm saying. Okay. Um, Okay, I'm glad that Elon Musk knows that I'm an honest person. I'm glad that you know that. Okay. And I know that you have associated with the people that I used to know, and I'm pretty sure that they said a lot of negative things, possibly a lot of these chubby women who were talking about me, and trying to make me look like a bad person. And obviously, these people were just jealous of me, and they really do owe me compensation, but I know that are not in a position to do that. Okay. As a matter of fact, they've caused more problems by creating, people not answering the phone or avoiding my whatever. Hopefully the Masonic Temple is making some sort of statement about that, because these women have caused all kinds of problems. They want to prevent me from being able to follow up on jobs. They try to prevent me from working, and then preventing me. They also I believe that they are a part of the SNAP issue. They don't want me to have funds. They don't want me to have anything like that. These women should be arrested for attempted murder. Okay, I want these people to get in trouble. Okay. So anyway, I do want to say about these particular women, they are failures in their profession and they are dangerous to society. This includes people who work for emergency systems who do not answer the phone or do not, complete the call the way that it should be. Okay, these people are dangerous to society, and it's this issue that I wish to highlight. Okay. Now, as far as my issue with, okay, I think that's it. Okay. And I'm glad that you guys know that I do care about you guys. So, I'm talking about Vladimir. And yes, I still care about Elon Musk, even though I haven't heard anything from him in a very long time. I know that I had mentioned your issue a while ago. And, I know that this particular group was basically saying, oh, don't talk to her and the us versus them and all this other stuff. Okay. You basically are admitting that what you did, you created a genocide issue by telling people not to talk to me. Okay. I personally think that if my son has the ability to take Terry Collins to court, then that's what he needs to do. Okay. He should do that because you try to reduce the quality of my life. I don't care. And see, another thing I want to say really quick about some of these people. I want to say that some of these people may have mistakenly believed that I would have compassion on them after them creating all of this sort of abuse. Like, well, come on, Maria, you know me. I mean, no, I don't know you. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why I don't know you. Okay. When I used to know the Collins family, I was under the impression that that I was born and raised by the Gordon family. Like I was their family. Okay. I didn't know that I was a part of some sort of, weird experiment and that a clone. I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know any of that. But the people in my community knew that I was. They knew that I was set up for harassment and everything else. Okay, so now at this point in my life, no, I don't look at you as somebody I used to know or that somebody I would make concessions for. I look at you as a Nazi that you are. Okay, a Nazi person who was basically trying and practically drooling to get me to be her commodity. Okay, screw you. Okay, and that's the only way I see you. And I don't see my family, the people I grew up with either. I see them the same way. These people were abusers. These people who wanted to sit here and exploit me financially. So no, when it comes to people that I used to know, I see you in different eyes, with different eyes. I see you through as reality. Okay. So no, I don't have any compassion on you, especially after how long it's been. I will throw the book at you as hard and fast as I want to, and you are deserving of it. So I'm going to wrap up this message of this video. And to my soul tribe, I wish you all a good day. I know that I go on and on and on about this issue. And I think what some people need, I want people to understand is I just want my life to be active. I want my life to be active. Okay, and I know some people are like, "Ooh, look at you! You just adore, Vladimir Putin, and this has everything." Okay, I've been bitching about me going back to work before I even knew about Vladimir Putin. Okay, meaning like knowing that he was hanging around or whatever. Okay, I get tired of people trying to minimize. Yes, I think Vladimir Putin is very cute, as well as I really do like him. Okay, but I deserve to have an active life. I want to go to work, get up every morning, go to work and do stuff. Okay. I want to pay my bills. I want to pay things for myself. I don't want my son, carrying my burdens. Okay. I'm an active person. I'm somebody who is able bodied and I'm able to work and I want to work. Okay. Okay. And ideally, it would have been better for me had I been able to leave this community when I needed to. Okay, because I understand at this point, like for example, sometimes there's certain people that I recall saying, or people who I felt has crossed me, that the tension is just too high. I do not want to see them again. Okay, so I need to go into a work environment where I don't really recognize anybody. Okay, and I know the people that cause me these problems. I'm not going to see them physically. I might end up meeting somebody that they know or whatever. I don't want your side conversations. I don't want your insinuations. I am there to work. I know in my other jobs they would want to bring up stuff or try to be sly or whatever, or try to these are the people who are trafficking me from Murray Family Farms to all these other jobs. Look at the damage you caused me. And if you sit here and think that making a joke about it is appropriate, I will tell you, I just told you what I'm out of. I've just told you what I need to be compensated for. Okay. So you're going to cause all this damage and sit here and try to make a joke. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. These people are deranged. Okay. So no, like I said, I see you, Terry Collins, Bruce Collins, Rick Collins, Jennifer Collins, all these people. I don't see you as the Jehovah's Witness family that I used to know in Lancaster. I see you as the Nazi freaks that you are. So I'm going to wrap this video up and I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.